Okay, so again, I ended last time by saying that um, Tutmosis III in the 18th dynasty had a dream where he was sitting by the pyramid in front of it, where his father said he is Harmachis Atum Kepri, Kepri being the Ra's version in the morning, the rising sun, said he would rule on the throne of Jeb. Now remember, Haru is also the rising sun, and we'll get into that in a second. Okay, there's Haru of the horizon and Haru on the horizon. Okay, so Horus is like the Greek version of it, or the Latin version of it, one of the two, of his name. And his name's really Haru, just like Osiris is a Greco-Roman version when his name is really Usar. So there's a lot of stuff that gets confusing, okay? So warrior with spirit emphasis, okay? A, instead of the E, the M is the arc, phases. A phases, emphasis. One way to remember it, whether that wordplay is 100% or not. Think about a raccoon versus the grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. They call black people coons, when really black people are the Ra of the coon in the occult perspective, and the grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, Apep, a pope, versus the people who are fighting with the Pope over who controls Western religion. So they're basically fighting with the Pope over who is this kind of a sea serpent, a Leviathan, an Apep in the primordial waters, a snake in the Nile, a snake in the marshes by chemists in northern Egypt. Who is the great serpent fisherman with a serpent scale, and who is the hawk who is naturally at odds with snakes and that eat his kids while he wants to kill them to prevent them from eating his kids. So when they're getting black people to disproportionately abort their kids with Planned Parenthood, a bunch of occultists, Margaret Sanger, her name has wordplay, I'll get into that another day. All right, let's just shoot through this. Horus, okay, Horus, son of Isis, brought up secretly on the floating isle of Chemis in the marshes near Buto. And in this version, the magician aspect of Isis, who she learned it from Tot, teach, Tot, thought, is emphasized. Okay, serpents and diseases are sent by Uncle Set, and she uses magic to cure him. As a child, known as Harpocrates. Okay, Set our cap Ra. Okay, do the math. Do it backwards. Set our, or our cap Ra. The H is the fence, so you can remove the H. The H in Egyptian mythology is the fence. And of course, you'll see this in the Egyptian wordplay as well, as some words are used with an H and some are used without the H. It is the fence that can be removed or kept based on the good spell and your extraction, right? The formula. Form L-A. Form all A, and so on. All right. So he was stunted from the waist down. He was crippled, right? The Crip gang, they wear blue, the color of the Skywalker, versus red, the principle of evil, right? The gangs in LA, the city of angels, right? Angola, Angel A, Capoeira, angels, right? They used to wear blue, the Hispanics and the black gangs. And then the red guys started coming around, the Bloods and the Northerners. Now it's not as simple as they're the good guys. They're all the bad guys. They're all the bad guys, especially at this point. They just are confused about who they are and what's going on. Khan's whore versus Set. The problem solution, right? The fake Horus, the falcon, the eagle versus the serpent, the jackal, the hippo, the pig, and the boar. And certainly the red guys at one point, to some extent, must have been relying on cops to help them out because they were dramatically outnumbered. And of course, they were the ones using the guns, the Bloods, to gain the upper hand, which resulted in an extreme violence. When, of course, catching fades and stuff is like meeting halfway between killing somebody and sparring. Moving on. So he was shown as being suckled by Isis. This is where you get the image of the Black Madonna, baby Jesus, and the Virgin Mary. Now, Christianity is a refinement of Egyptian mythology. Okay, it is the best description of the reality of the spiritual realm and the world. The best description of reality and why we're here, extracted from Egyptian mythology or explained in terms of Egyptian mythology, since they were the main pagans in the area of Jerusalem. It was the Egyptians who used to occupy Jerusalem. And of course, Chemis is the deity that controls the trade routes going northeast. Okay, the northeast corner, the rising sun, and who controls your perception of what it means to be a rising sun versus, what it actually means. The pharaoh, the martial arts leader, who has started off as a black martial artist, and we've cultivated a certain warrior body that they're mad about, but we used to breed with the other races to help bring them in, and some of them were too greedy. That wasn't enough. They wanted everything now, me, and that's why the world is fucked up, to make a long story short. Okay. Osiris returned from the shades to be instructed in the Osiris returned from the shades to instruct Horus, in the art of warfare. Okay, he grew up believing that avenging ill-treated parents was, quote unquote, the finest thing possible. Har Isis. Okay, Horus and Isis, perhaps. Har Isis. Okay, Horus, son of Isis, is what it means according to the book. Harendotis. Okay, face in duties, do ease, right? Hor is the face in duties, dotis, harendotis, okay? Horus, avenger of his father, is how the book describes it. They don't give me the wordplay. Okay, repeated attempts to finish Set, even cutting off his head, did not do it. He pieced himself together. Set brings it to arbitration. Orbit, our bit, okay? Ration, okay? Arbitration, orbit, our bit, ration. By a tribunal, okay? We are the spirits of the deities. We don't give a fuck if you're Asiatic, Semitic, Indo-European, Berber type motherfucker, Nubian, some African from out of town, okay? The tribe is nulled. We are the arbitration tribunal, okay, of the gods. Osiris would advocate, advoca. Okay, advocate is another way to look at it. Was found to be the true voice. Set brags he is the strongest in the great Ennead, which includes Hathor, Shu, Nut, Tefnut, Jeb, Ra, and so on. There's 9 of them. The great Ennead. Shu and Tot say that justice should prevail over brute strength. That is just their specific argument, right? Sparring over UFC fighting, strategy, speed, and physical contact over brute strength. What races are kind of short and strong, and what races are tall and agile, and play basketball on our wide receivers and shit, okay? It was justice over brute strength. Now, their argument wasn't even agility over brute strength. It was justice over brute strength. But how Horus kept beating Set was using agility and using his range, okay, to outmaneuver him and cut off his head. And these people wouldn't, one could view it as martial artists in deadly combat or sparring were demonstrating their superiority over the temple of Set, and the other temples would not concede, is one thing you can extract from this. And certainly there was something like that going on in ritual form or otherwise. Okay. Set, unsure of his moral grounds, suggested you choose trial by combat, but Tot said it was to avoid decision of who was in the right. So they could have said, hey, we don't accept that they're winning single combat. Let's just all catch a group fade and fight to the death. And Tot, uses his head, says, hey, that is so you can avoid the decision of who is right. Okay, there's a long battle that proceeds. Okay, Isis eventually harpoons Horus, trying to harpoon Set to give him the upper hand. Horus cuts off his head of his mother. After she lets Set go and harpoons him, and so on. Okay, Neith, the oldest of the European favored deities, perhaps in the north, favors Horus, and there's a boat competition where Horus uses trickery and uses plaster to make a cedar boat instead of a stone boat, which was used by by Set, and the competition was over who could sink the other's boat. Okay, and Set turns into a hippo, and Horus harpoons him. Okay, when all is said and done, basically how it ends is Osiris threatens the other gods to come to a conclusion, and he rebukes them for ill-treating Horus. It's kind of like what's going on here without my father or some kind of Osiris figure having the power to force them to concede my point after 5 years of martial arts challenges and 4 years of the top martial arts challenge, December 20th, 2013 to December 20th, 2017, with $5,000. As much as $100,000 was offered at one point to whoever can beat me. Look it up. Certainly they'll probably try to take my videos down, get the message out, whether you're a gang stalking ninny or not. Moving on. Ra Harakati, upset by Baba needs Hathor's privates to cheer him up. In this story, they make fun of Ra Harakati because, the sun god, Horus is the son of Ra versus Horus is the son of Osiris. And of course, part of the con is to make Ra look bad and to have Ra favor Set over Horus, which makes no sense. His name is Ra Haraketi, but he's favoring Set the whole time. So that's where I get the Set Harakati, and you remove the E, or you keep the E and you remove the T, which is the plus, the H, which is the fence. You get Kara, and then you put Set in front. You get Karati with an S. So E Karatis with an S, right? So that's where you get the karate from, the Set Harakati backwards. The word play, right? Word play. Okay, play the game, the ball game, Baal, the Canaanite deity, Babylon, Baal, worshipped by the Israelites and trying to lead the kingdom of Judah astray in the Bible. Read your Bible. Okay, the Kings, Chronicles, Samuel. All right, so I believe that's about it. So the tribunal took 80 years. Okay, can you imagine that? 80 years of fucking bitches not wanting to concede their martial arts point. That kind of makes me feel depressed about, the direction of society. Let me go on to Ra. Ra names means sun, its strength. Rose in a Bennu bird and alighted, and he lighted on the pyramidal top of an obelisk, the Ben stone, which symbolized a ray of the sun, the most sacred object of Heliopolis' temple of Ra. That's the most sacred object of Heliopolis, which became the center of the empire when the land was unified by Narmer or Mene. Okay? Mene's pharaohs. Many sons of Ra would come. The center of the primordial hell was the house of the Ben. So in the house of the Ben, which was the center of the primordial hell, which I believe where Ra was said to be created, was the most sacred object, the obelisk, the Ben stone. Okay? Some said Ra was born a calf. I reject this. Some say he was hatched from an egg made of clay by Ptah or laid by Jeb in the form of a goose. I, for the most part, reject that as well. The argument that he emerged from none, the primordial waters, by his own well is the closest to something I accept. Okay? So no one came before him, and he created himself. That's what God did. God came first. He created himself. The tears from his eyes created man. The eye had a mind of its own. Shu and Tefnut struggled to bring it back. Okay, and the resulting struggle created the tears, which created man, and man and tear have the same sound in ancient Egyptian. Okay, so they're the Shu and Tefnut are basically the atmosphere and the sky. Apep, the serpent, conspires to kill him at sunrise. There's an all-day battle at one point. According to this story, and this is page 41 in the book, Peter Ham, Egyptian Mythology, Veronica Ions. Okay, Ra took the form of a leopard, they say a cat or a lion, to kill Apep by beheading. If you actually see the actual pyramid text, you can see that it is a large spotted cat. It certainly is a cheetah or a leopard. Certainly must be a leopard. Because a leopard strikes more effectively than a cheetah, and he strikes from a sitting position more often. A cheetah prefers to run after its prey, where a leopard will kind of wait and just lunge out real quickly. Okay, strategy, speed, physical contact, South Africa, Igbo, leopard society. Okay, Ra became old and men plot against him. Hathor/Sekhmet wants to destroy man, but Ra restrains them to maintain the divine order. So some say it's Hathor, some say it's Sekhmet. Moving on. Ra mounts, and some say it's Hathor in the form of Sekhmet. Ra mounts Nut as a cow, and the other gods clung to her belly to become the star. So this is the kind of the temple rebellion against the pharaoh, and Ra as the sun, and Haru as the embodiment of the son of earth, kind of like God and Jesus, the Father and the Son. So the same way they rebelled against the Egyptian version, the democratic quote-unquote bitches, demonstration, demo. Let me give you a demo. Bunch of pussies. You pussies. Okay? Ra, Haru, not Set, Ar, Ak. Set a rack, rather. Not set a rock, excuse me, not set a rock. Not set as the rock that you build the church, but Ra Haru. Mountains supporting the sky is where Ra appeared. He emerged in the east behind Manu, the mountain of sunrise, and passing between two sycamores, journeyed across the sky in manjet boat or bark of millions of years. The sycamore might even be the tree of life in the Bible, don't know, because Hathor is the house of Horus. He was crude with personifications of the sun's power, Hu authoritative utterance, command, and creation by divine decree. Sia is intelligence, and Hike is magic. And Ikenga means strength. Ike, right? Take off the H. Ike. Ikenga. Uraeus. Your-A-E-us. Okay, you're A, I'm A, and they are the E's, right? Uraeus. You're A, E, us. Spitting fire. Okay, that is the serpent. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to finish this in the next video.